Hey everybody, Travis here for Tpull's Corner, and today's deck is called Vat of the Junkyard because we're using a Vat and we're using Junkyard Genius. And so we'll show you the strategy in a little bit. I've been gone for a couple days, but it wasn't by my choice. I had a technical nightmare of upgrades that I had to do. NVIDIA had a lovely little driver update that they had to do for my recording. And then my local cable provider said they were giving me a gift of greater download speeds for free, and I had to reboot my computer. And I was trying to record this deck first, and I was going late into the night, and it was getting done. I was nearly finished, and then my lovely local cable provider, with their faster download speeds, they had a technical outage, and I lost all connection, and it ruined the recording. It ruined an upload for the other deck that I was going to show you, and it really set me back. I had to keep downloading stuff and rebooting my computer and resetting up where everything was, because when you have a driver update on NVIDIA, they reset where their default locations are for everything. So it has not been fun. And because I have a full-time job, there's just no chance of me making up that time. I was already up after midnight, just trying to fix and get back to where I already was, where I had all my presets. Which means I am not going to ever have any chance of busting any records for continuous YouTube postings. It's just never going to happen. But I think we just attack with this one that has Menace. This has Double Strike, right? That's a bit of a problem for us. I can't really stop their Double Striker, right? I wonder why they don't attack. Well, can I do that? No, I can't. Okay, so we have First Strike here. They didn't attack. Guess they want to double block and keep me from converting the battle? You can't block it with just the one. Goldhound has Menace. They have to block with both creatures. They should think it's okay because they have Double Strike, right? So the first strike, they're going to take 1 point of damage, they think. But what they don't know is we have Blade Brand, which is Death Touch. And no, we're not going to do Indestructible. Death Touch is enough to take out one of the creatures. That's enough. We'll pass the turn. We don't need to use everything we've got. If I was willing to, I would have just played this and made him Death Touch and Indestructible all at once. That's an 8/8. Gross. go get our battle. And I think we'll be done there. The trample is a bit of a problem. That's a real big problem. They could forget the battle, right, if they wanted to. One straight to the face. Okay, so we will block there, and we will block here, and we'll make this one Death Touch and Indestructible. And we take a big bunch of damage, and they get 1 point on the battle, right, or 4 points on the battle. And we get another Mishra. And hopefully they don't have any creatures with haste coming up at us. Just another trample. That turns into a 3/3 when it attacks here, and they give up the ghost. Kinda surprised. But we'll take it because a couple nights ago when I was first putting together this deck, we had some beautiful gameplay recorded. We had some great games. It was a great demonstration up until my local cable provider decided that they couldn't keep the connection going, even though that's their entire job. Vat of the Junkyard. This is going to go under the playlist of decks that beat me because most of the cards here were part of a deck, and I like to show what other people think of and other stuff that they put together, especially when it beats me. Sometimes it's very fast, sometimes it's just decisive. This deck didn't beat me fast, but it did set up a nice little strategy that I wanted to try out because I like the idea of Junkyard Genius. I've tried him out in a couple different decks, but I wasn't impressed. I didn't think I had the right mix, and I think he's got a good mix here when you combine him with Vat of Rebirth. So we've got 4 copies of Vat of Rebirth. Whenever another artifact or creature you control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, you put an oil counter on the vat. Then for 3 mana, you remove 4 oil counters from the vat, return a target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. One drawback, you can only activate it as a sorcery. Now, when you first look at this card, you might think that it's tough to use, and that the game might be over before you ever get to use it, which is a possibility, but if you get up the right rhythm with your combination of cards, it actually gets used a lot more than you might think, especially if you get out multiple copies. So one of the key things is that it doesn't matter if it's a token or non-token creature that's put into the graveyard. And so we have 4 copies of Legamo's Hand of Hatred, which generates a token creature every single turn that if you don't lose it, you still have to sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step. So you're still going to be triggering this oil counter put onto the Vat of Rebirth, just if you have 1 Legamos out and just attack with the token elemental creature. Actually, don't even need to attack with it, because it's going to die at the end of the turn no matter what. So as long as Legamos gets to stay out on the field, you're getting counters on Vat of Rebirth. So anything that's permanent that goes into your graveyard will have a chance to get out. We've got 4 copies of Goldhound, First Strike with Menace, and we can sacrifice it to add a mana of any color. We've got, this is my edition, 3 Battle Rage Blessings, because they used in the deck, in the match where they beat me, I saw 8 cards, and so we need 9 cards, right, in order to make 36, because you got 24 that have to be lands, at least. So I put in Battle Rage Blessing, target creature gains Death Touch and Indestructible until end of turn. We've got 4 Blade Brands, target creature gains Death Touch, and you draw a card. This is fun not just for attacking with your creatures or defending with your creatures, but because the token elemental has trample, so if you give it Death Touch, it does 1 point of damage, kills the creature, and then you still manage to do 1 point of damage against, say, a battle or your opponent. Because when you got Death Touch, it only takes 1 point to kill the creature, the opposing creature. For control, we've got 4 copies of Invasion of Asgul. When it enters the battlefield, target player sacrifices a creature or planeswalker and loses 1 life. And I've used this just to make it lose 1 life, and that actually is the point that wins me the match. The Junkyard Genius himself, the other part of the combo, when he enters the battlefield, you create a tapped Power Stone token, which you can then use for sacrifice later. For 3 mana, you sacrifice a creature or an artifact, and other creatures get +1 menace and haste. So if we bring down a creature and we have 3 extra to sacrifice a Power Stone artifact, then that whatever creature we bring down can attack in that same turn. They might not be prepared for that, especially if it happens to be the Archfiend of the Dross. 6/6 flyer, has 4 oil counters when it comes in. The drawback is at the beginning of your upkeep, you remove an oil counter, and if it ever has no oil counters on it, you actually lose the entire game. However, it's got a nice little additional ability here. Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, its controller loses 2 life. So I don't know if they had 4 copies of this or not. I only have 1 copy. So that's why I put in 3 copies of Battle Rage Blessing, and then I made up for it with the Invasion of Asgard. This was not originally in the deck that beat me. But I felt like I needed some sort of removal, some sort of control. We have 4 copies of Garna, Bloodfist of Keld. Whenever another creature you control dies, draw a card if it was attacking. So we get draw card advantage if we attack with our elemental. Otherwise, it just deals 1 damage to each opponent. And Mishra, Tamer of Makfawa, 4/4 Human Artificer. This is a legendary creature. Permanents you control have ward, sacrifice a permanent. And then each artifact card in your graveyard has Unearth as well. So what do we have for lands? We've got 1 Takanuma, 1 Dross Pits, and 1 Autonomous Furnace for card draw. 4 Trimeway Stations that we could sacrifice for card draw. 1 Filled Rune. And we have 1 Monumental Facade, which has 2 oil counters on it. We can do that and add oil counters to Archfiend of the Dross if we need to, if it's going to take us more than 4 turns to knock out our opponent with the Archfiend out. So that way we don't quite have to worry quite as much about the possibility of losing to the Archfiend. Running dry of oil counters. So yeah, I kind of wish I had, maybe I should have kept the first video, because I did have a couple of battles in the can, and they worked really well. It was just really good to demonstrate the concept of the deck. And today I got on, and Arena has found like all of this deck's kryptonite, and it's like, oh, I went up against an all-exile deck that didn't give me any of my creatures in my graveyard and stuff like that. Wouldn't give me any of my targeted removal spells. So it's been tough today. But we just won that last match. So let's see what happens here. Bring out the Vat of Rebirth. I'm not used to drawing this much land this early on. I'm used to having other stuff. Let's bring out Garna. That uses all of our land. They're going to incubate twice, aren't they? Yep. And then as soon as they have extra mana... No, they don't even need to have mana. They just have them gain First Strike and Death Touch. And we don't really have a way around that, do we? Alright, we're going to start powering up the Vat of Rebirth. We just attack unthinkingly. They'll block. We get our oil counter, and we get a card draw due to Garna, and we end the turn. And hopefully, that card draw will help us, although that is a problem for us. We just transform everything. And they're willing to make all of those trades. I guess we don't have much choice, right? We're going to lose way too much health too fast. No, you know what? Let me not block this time. And I just got more land. Well, we get this out anyway. Attack with that. It's not enough. Not enough. I should have used this instead of tap land. Could have used Blade Brand. It's not enough. They could just block with Glissa if they want. I don't have enough extra mana to do anything. Nope, this Glissa combined with Sculpted Perfection was just perfect for them. We get one card draw, and it does let us put out a chump blocker. So we survive for one more turn, but they can just incubate twice with Glissa, and I can't really stop Glissa. Oh, hello. Gee whiz. Could it get any more perfect for them? This is what we get for winning our first match. Yeah, I think I'm dead no matter what, right? Four, 8. Well, we could survive. No, because they've got Death Touch on everything. We'll just say good game. We're not going to draw that out. I don't know why they're waiting. We'll just concede. I was down to 6 life already. So it's possible that we don't have enough removal in this deck. But we were geared to be the ones that put out the cheap creatures and started attacking fast. And we got kind of our 4-drops out first. And we drew a lot of land. And we tried to use it as much as we could. Let's see what else we're going up against today. Are they scared of a gold hound? Machine over matter. Let's bring out Legamos and start the damage. I don't see Machine over matter used a lot. Ah, but I do on Urza Meld decks. That explains it. We attack with this because with Garna out, it now gives us a card draw. And there's our card draw damage. We don't mind if it doesn't deal any damage straight away. We're hoping the card draw will give us the advantage eventually. Let's do Mishra. Urza versus Mishra. That seems fair, doesn't it? Do you still block with Urza? There's no reason why not. I'm all tapped out. We just get card draw out of it. But we also sort of train them into blocking every time. So when we get a Blade Brand, we're going to be ready, and they're not. They try and get rid of Mishra, right? They do have to pay the ward cost. They get rid of a creature out of everything. Okay. It's a creature that I controlled that died, so Garna does a point of damage. And they can't get past Garna, they're tapped out, so... They've got to wait. And we can put down Junkyard Genius. And we can now put back down the Gold Hound. And we can attack. And we expect them to block with Urza again. No Blade Brand still out of all of this, but we keep getting the card draw. We're going to get something eventually. And now, since I have an extra Garna, I can just start attacking with Garna. Oh, they got a flyer. Watch out, they got a flyer. Now they can equip the octopus, right? Now they've got a 3/5. Ah, ha ha ha. But we can do stuff like this now. Unless they have a counterspell. Get rid of your flying sentry. We know you don't want to give up Urza. They gave up Urza! Why would you get... Can't you just meld with the Might Stone and Weak Stone to get the Planeswalker? What in the world? Why would they do that? Okay. Let's see if the... You know why, is they have another Urza in their hand. And because they're not going to get enough time. They probably had another Urza in their hand. But they needed time to bring Urza back down again. And then meld it the next turn. And we were probably going to have lethal by that time. Close but no cigar. Once you get that Planeswalker out, it's pretty much game over. They can activate its abilities twice. There's just way too much overpowered stuff they can do to the opponent. Or even just setting up a bunch of really cheap blockers that last forever. They can effectively stall. If nothing else, even if I put out a creature every single turn, they could stall me for like 20 turns. Okay, I'm not sure if this is the greatest opening, but we do get 2 Vats out right away, so anything that they remove will be powered up. Oh, 3 Vats. Hello. That may be too many Vats. I do need some creatures at some point. Not just the expensive ones. And because these are the expensive creatures, I can't really afford to miss a card draw, a land draw. Okay, we could sacrifice Goldhound if we need to, just to get out another creature. But I only have 1 Archfiend to the draws, and they might have an exile card instead of a destroy card. They don't seem concerned. At all. But of course they have vigilance. So what do they care? Oh, hello. A 4/5 flyer with vigilance. Okay, so I think... If I sacrifice this now... Why can't I sacrifice this? Hello. Oh, activated. Activated. I cannot activate that. I needed land and I missed a land draw. So, there you go. We win a match, and then, ta-da! Exactly what you need to counter the fact that I did have a way to get a creature out 1 turn early. And they have just all flying angels. This is going to be a massacre. What a coincidence that I get 2 ways to get extra mana and tap land, which is useless to me right now. And you, on your next turn, get out exactly the one thing that stops my ability. What a coincidence. And how many times have we faced Drana and Linvala? Like once in the last month? And suddenly she appears. Right, just at the right moment when it turns out it would be bad for my deck. You know, if I were a conspiracy theorist, look how easy that was for them. Oh, I can put out 1 blocker finally, when it's finally too late. Okay, Arena. Was that even a real person, or was that just a bot they generated? Show of hands, who plays with that card? Four lands. Maybe this will work. we can put out the vat and we can put out the gold hound, so if they kill it right away, we still have an oil counter. But we might be able to take some things with us. I was probably supposed to attack with gold hound, but we can't protect it right now. We're all tapped out, so we can't use Battle Rage Blessing. And yep, that's just going to add a counter on the Vat of Rebirth, and that's it. And they get to attack us. But how about a 6/6 on turn 4? And I'm just going to attack you now. Doesn't matter, you're dead in 3 turns. 1 oil counter down. Attack with all 3. They can't stop the flyer. If you're going to block the Menace, you got to block with 2 creatures. You can't block with just the Weaver of Blossoms. We wait for them to figure that out, because the game's not going to let them proceed that way. It'll tell them they don't have enough blockers. Here we'll just use Blade Brand. We'll do Death Touch. That'll get rid of the creature. And we get card draw out of it. Another counter on Vat of Rebirth. And they lost 2 life due to losing a creature thanks to Archery into the Dross. So now we have an 8/8 Trample Ward, which is fine. That's fine. You know why? Because they're dead. And that was kind of fast. That's what happens when you get Archery into the Dross out and they just don't have a way to remove it. So, I suspect Arena used us to make sure somebody else got enforced their 50% win ratio just now. It would be nice if things weren't quite so lopsided. I mean, they were threatening, right? If things hadn't gone our way, they could have killed us pretty fast with what they were putting on the field. But we had the tempo. Mono Green keeps trying. They put out these scary big creatures. And the latest expansions do have some fearsome beasts that are no joke. Toxic. I think we get rid of you now because we don't have anything in the way of flyers. But we really can't afford to miss a land drop because they're just going to have more. Well, it's tapped, so it doesn't help us the best, but maybe we'll get something going with Legamos. Kind of concerned if they're not going to cast a spell. Never mind. Let's go ahead and put out Legamos now. Have it attack. We'll have it attack the battle. They might just let it go. They might not care. We've got so much poison on the field already. Look at that. Yeah, we don't usually do well against Phyrexian poison decks. We'll try and stop this. Ugh. Okay, so they don't have something to kill Legamos? That's good at least. We go get another blocker. They're willing to... Yeah, because it proliferates, so I get another poison token. So I'm up to 3. And I didn't use Invasion of Asgol because I want to use Battle Rage Blessing. They just have yet another toxic creature right away. They should be willing to attack with everybody. This is kind of weird. They're just attacking with that. I'm going to use Blade Brand and kill it. Oh, because it proliferates too, so I'll be at 5 poison. What else you got? Proliferates 6 poison. These don't proliferate anymore. But I'm nearly at as much poison as I can take already, and they still got a flyer I can't get rid of. It looks like they finally got removal of their own, too. They're just trying to figure out what they want to use it on. Tapped out. Oh, another proliferate too. Puts me at 7. They could really bum mushroom me with all 3 and take out Legamos, because I kind of have to block at this point, don't I? That's perfect. That's perfect. I get rid of the flyer finally. Goldhound had first strike, so it gets to survive. And we finally go after the battle. How many creatures is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 really cheap subs. So that's 7. 7 really cheap creatures. We'll put Garna down, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. No, because I don't want to take any chances here. I don't care what spell they have. It's not going to stop them having to sacrifice a creature. That's it. Yeah, we'll just do this. We still got a poison counter out of it, but we need to watch out for them just to get another creature in an infectious bite, too. But that's 3 of our 4 removal spells. And they just got another flyer, and we don't have a way to stop that. I mean, I can draw a card, but I don't think I have a 1 card that'll do anything. Yep, we're dead. Too many flyers with poison. So obviously, flying is a weakness against this deck. Or I'd say we have a weakness against flyers. And it doesn't matter if they're angels that just womp on us or 1/1s with toxic. But I feel like a lot of times we're not getting these cards in the right order. This is the part that's always frustrating, right? The opponents that beat me handily with these decks, they get exactly what they need in the order they need it. And the best thing is not to get 2 of the same card. The best thing is to get 1 of each of the 9 cards in your deck that really prove the synergies that make for a really good kind of variety, so to speak. And this is going to be a ninjutsu deck, so it's really important for us to have blockers. But Legamos is not really intended to be a blocker. He's just supposed to stand there and look pretty while his elementals womp on the enemy. So... the good news is, maybe a duplicate's okay, because if they do get rid of one, we could just bring another one right down. They're not going to block the 2/1 elementals. And we could at least get another creature out here. Did I mention we're weak against flyers? Aha. Oh, they're willing to block a token? You're going to lose 2 life from that. It's always an issue with only having 1 copy of Archfiend. Oh, never mind. They didn't have a way to deal with it. We're kind of having quick wins and quick losses, aren't we? We'll do one more. I feel like the initial one that I did a couple days ago was much better in terms of getting out the Junkyard Genius and the Vat of Rebirth and being able to go through a few creatures and bring them back to actually demonstrate the concept. And again, this is what I was talking about. All these decks that beat me, they do it so well. Like they really pop off just right, and they really impress me. And then I go and I put together the exact same cards, and what happens? No, my combo doesn't show up. It always starts out interesting, seeing new cards, seeing new combinations, seeing new concepts, and then you go and try them yourself, and it's like, hey, this worked beautifully for the opponent. This worked great when they were wiping the floor with me. And then what happens? Nothing right happens. Maybe this will work. Maybe Realmbreaker will throw some creatures in our graveyard and we'll get them out with the Vat of Rebirth. There goes a Goldhound and an extra Legamos. They got my land. Go ahead and put down Goldhound, and we will actually attack with everybody. You're not supposed to attack with Legamos usually, but speed may be of the essence here. We don't have to worry about like them having the white lands and destroying tapped creatures in that way. If they have removal for Legamos, they'll just play it. They're still just going to mill us. There goes a Junkyard Genius. I am not going to be able to show off the central concept of this deck, am I? You're just going to have to take my word for it. Yeah, let's make it indestructible. They're tapped out. They can't do anything else. They still lose the 2 life points for casting the spell. And Garna comes out. And at least this is cool. I do manage to demonstrate the card draw advantage we get from having Legamos combined with Garna. And always losing the creature, which triggers Garna. There goes another one. Which one do we get rid of? That deals the damage thanks to Garna. There's a Vat finally. Let's mill some cards. Junkyard. Jump blocking, they get a card draw out of it. Gives them lots of cards, so maybe the more removal. We're not exactly afraid of removal in that sense. We'll take There. They get a point of damage thanks to Garna, and we get an oil counter finally thanks to Vat of Rebirth. And we're assuming they're going to chump block here with Satara. No, they're going to take the damage. Do you have a trick up your sleeve? Or are you just going to mill me some more? And dig for something? Urtai Resurrected, okay. Get rid of Garna. Another oil counter on Vat of Rebirth. All it did was give me a land, though. It's not the greatest. They'll just probably mill me again, right? Yep. Ah, they got rid of 2 of my removal spells. Not good. Alright, we're going to do a little trick here. We're going to sacrifice the power token. We can use the power token to trigger that ability. We get the oil counter from Vat of Rebirth. And now we're attacking for 2. We actually didn't need to do that. I forgot. It gives other creatures the medicine, the +1, not Junkyard itself. So we do manage to take out Sataro. We get one of these. We can use this and bring back... What do we want to bring back? Bring back Garna? Or bring back Legamos? Let's bring back Legamos. What do you mean pay 3? 1, 2, oh, we only have 2 left? Never mind. Shoot. They get to draw a card. Possibly. Yep. Yeah, I gotta read the card better. Other creatures you control get +1 in Menace and Haste. Sacrificing the Power Stone did nothing for me. For Junkyard Genius himself. Okay, another Vat. Done what we have. Can we pay the 3 now? Okay. Let's go ahead and let's get Garna back. I'm too tired. I just put down a Garna. You can't have 2 of the same legendary. I spent so much time getting the computer back up and running. It's late at night again, and I gotta work tomorrow. And I think my mental faculties are rapidly diminishing. And they're just getting more and more resources here. I think we don't block that. We let them have their card draw. And all we're getting is land. But they've got a block, so they might as well double block, right? We don't even need to use Blade Brand on that, but I will. Because I want to draw another card. It's just another land. Come on. I know, it was my fault though. I brought back the Garna. I sacrificed the Power Stone when I didn't need to. You can tell when my mental faculties start to wear out and I take a dive, it happens really fast all at once, doesn't it? I don't have any conspiracy theories that can blame Arena for this loss. How am I doing on 18 cards left? Wait for them to take land. They should probably take the Monumental Facade, but they're not. They're just taking more colored mana they can use. And you keep getting more resources.
There are many secrets I don't know, but not for long.
I shouldn't keep drawing land. They've milled most of my land
Thanks.
away for what
I'll
was
be
left.
taking that now.
Thank you. They've got something holding up priority. Just removal. Okay. Yeah, that cost them 2 points. They're willing to take it. Interesting. I wouldn't have thought you would have done that. Now you have to give up the Silver Fur Master as a chump blocker. And we can bring somebody back. Okay, I have a Legamos. I'm not bringing back Legamos. Now we'll bring back Garna. And now hopefully they can't afford to attack, right? They can create a 1/1 here and just use it as a chump blocker if they want. Are they trying really to seriously just mill me out in advance? They could draw another card with Tramway Station if they wanted to. They certainly have enough money here to spend. Yeah. All right. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Oh, sure, by all means. Thank you. No, you can come on through and hit me. That'd be just fine. You're nearly tapped out. Draw a card. Thank you. Yes, don't create another creature.
I know something you don't know.
I think this was a misplay on their part. Okay, so we bring back Junkyard Genius. Go ahead and bring down the vat. They've got something holding up priority. Sacrifice the tapped Power Stone. That powers up all of the Vat of Rebirth. Go to next turn. We've got 3 attackers, 2 of which have Menace. No, 3, because the Legamos has Menace too, as well as the, yeah. So they needed 6 blockers there, 2 for each of my 3 attackers, and they only had 3. And they were down to 1 life point. Even despite numerous misplays, all it takes is for the opponent to mess up once, really. And we got him. And we got a new card. Not new, I already have it. That's okay. Alright, let me go in and show you the deck one more time. And I feel like we finally got a good chance to kind of show you the idea there, too. That with the Junkyard Genius, just getting rid of a tapped Power Stone artifact is enough to power up the vats. And we got to where we were getting 3 vats out. And we ended up with some valid creatures in the graveyard. We brought them back with the vat, and that just provided a lot of extra value. Because we've got 20 creatures, and normally you want around 26 for a creature deck. But having 4 vats in there and being able to sort of recycle any one of these, I mean, Junkyard's not legendary, but we've got 3 legendary creatures in there. We've got 1 Archfiend, and we've got 1 Junkyard Genius. And this is why I kind of don't mind being a free-to-play channel and showing you all that you don't need to burn your wild cards necessarily. We've only got 1 copy of Archfiend to the draws, but we've got 4 Vat of Rebirths. What are the odds that we're going to get a Vat of Rebirth out and still populate from losing other creatures? If they take out our Archfiend, we can just bring it back and put it straight onto the battleground again with the Vat of Rebirth. So, again, maybe the deck that beat me had 4 copies of this. I don't know. I only saw 1. I'm assuming they had 4 copies. But with the way this deck is configured, we can sacrifice artifacts to power up and get enough oil counters on the Vat of Rebirth. If they get rid of our Archfiend, let's bring it back. You know, we could bring it back 2, 3, 4 times in the same match. And so what would I change about this? Maybe my addition Invasion of Asgol, maybe that's not good enough just because the target player gets to choose which creature or planeswalker that it sacrifices. So maybe we need more targeted removal so I could take out, you know, the things like Sheoldred that just sit there in the background and they usually have other creatures out, so we can't get at it. I kind of don't like Sheoldred for that reason, because they can just sit there and be lazy and let Sheoldred do all the work for them without even attacking anymore. And if you don't have targeted removal, you don't necessarily have a way to get rid of that. So if I was going to change anything, I do like Invasion of Asgol. Maybe I'd keep a couple copies in there, but you should still probably have a couple of targeted removal cards, just for things like Sheoldred and Glissa and the things that allow you to incubate twice every single turn and crap like that. We do need a way to deal with that. And maybe we need to have a little bit more in the way of defense against flyers too. And targeted removal would help with that. Whereas if we play Invasion of Asgol, they're probably going to sacrifice their ground creatures and not their flyers, because they know we don't have flyers. So that may be a reason why you do want to go ahead and have 4 Archfiends in there if you do, so that you do have protection against flyers. It does make the deck a little more expensive. And you have to give up something, but maybe you give up some of the Battle Rage blessings or whatever. But I liked having that in there. That was useful to actually keep hold of some of your creatures every now and then, or at least to give Death Touch to make a little surprise to get rid of their big creatures when they didn't expect it. As always, if you're new, remember to like and subscribe. If you're returning, welcome back and like anyway. And go ahead and leave comments on what you think of the deck. I'm going to put it on the playlist decks that beat me. And this is Travis, signing off for now. Thanks, everybody. Have a good one.